Hello there, and after a rather long break, welcome back to Dead Cells. It's been, like 5-6 months, maybe more like 4 or 5 since I last played this. Since it's in early access, I'm being very careful not to have myself burn out before the game is actually feature complete. I want to experience the game at its best while still having that sort of exuberant joy for it. I don't want a Darkest Dungeon situation where I end up burning myself out so early into early access that it took me a while before I was able to actually enjoy the game again. And I have returned just in time for the latest update, the Brutal update. I briefly scanned over the patch notes and it sounds like they made a lot of changes to how this game works. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to reset my save slot. I did start up a new run just to make sure recording was working. Surprisingly, despite not having issues with the game previously, actually capturing it with OBS now, I just ran into so many issues. Eventually I settled on monitor capture and it seems to be working even if the performance isn't quite where I'd like it to be. Oh well, not much I can do about that. But yeah, some changes they made with the game's builds just made it a huge pain in the ass to capture now for some reason, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, starting up a new run just to see how things are from a fresh perspective. Since previously the whole beginning tutorial stuff was clearly half finished, or at least it came across that way to me. Alright, well, that's about how it was when I last remembered it. Oh yeah, and that flaminess, I'm not gonna be able to do much about that. That's just what happens when you do monitor capture with a less than powerful system. I'll see if I can't hash out some improvements, but just given all the testing I did just getting this to work period, I'm probably not gonna manage it. I'll just have to hope that with a patch they end up improving the compatibility that my system has with it. It's always a possibility since, again, before it worked flawlessly. That's early access for you. It's actually kind of funny because there is another build that you can run the game with, and in fact it's now the default build, the DirectX one. But even though the compatibility with that, performance-wise and just capturing in general, is a lot better, it has a weird issue that prevents me from using it, at least for the purposes of live commentary, where for some reason it causes some major interference with my audio recording in Audacity, which is a really weird bug/compatibility thing that I don't think I've ever seen before in any of the games I've tried to record. It basically ends up causing a lot of audio popping and crackling that just makes the audio completely unusable. And I've never seen that issue before, and I have no idea what the game could possibly be doing to be causing it. But just from some searching, it seems like some other people, have had that issue, so hopefully the devs are aware and will fix it at some point. So immediately I'm noticing quite a few differences from the old build, just in terms of the enemy sprites. The grenadiers are no longer just pink palette swaps of the regular green zombies. So that's nice to see that they've improved the art. I see that the economy is in a pretty similar state as where it was when I last left the game. Weapons are quite expensive. Ooh, this is an entirely new item. If I can make 2.8k gold, I'll definitely want to pick that up, that double-notched bow. I am super interested in using new items that have been added since I last played. And honestly, especially since I never even discovered all of the items that were added in the previous build that I played, since I only played it for a few runs. So even with starting up a fresh file, there's just a whole bevy of content I've never experienced. And I'm really excited for that. Glad to see though that my usual tricks, my methods of dealing with the enemies do still work. They haven't actually updated how the enemies behave, and here we go. Here's one of the major changes that they listed in the patch notes. Whereas before, these level up scrolls allowed you to either boost your health, your weapon damage, or your skill efficacy. Now they've divided it into 3 trees that affect various things. So brutality is red equipment, which, just looking at the icons down there in the lower left, doesn't necessarily mean primary weapons. Because I noticed that the bow counts both as a red and a violent equipment piece, so it would benefit from both a brutality level up and a tactics level up. But I'm guessing brutality is mostly just primary weapon damage. Then we have tactics, which is violent weapon damage, more, tactical stuff. Reduced cooldown for active skills and a bit of a health boost. And then we have survival for your more tanky builds. Green equipment, which I haven't come across yet, but I'm assuming shields and things like that. Ideal plus 30 damage per second after a successful shield parry. I see they're still making changes to the game to try and make shields at all worthwhile. And a pretty sizable health boost. I think I would benefit most immediately from brutality, but yeah, let's go with brutality. That seems like a good idea at the moment. I wonder if the level ups ultimately still work out to how they did before, where you want to focus on one specific type, depending on what items you picked up, or if it's better to spread your levels out in a variety of categories. I guess that's something I'll figure out exactly as I go along and get more familiar with things. But yeah, nice to see though that spamming against these basic trash mobs is still an effective strategy. It seems like they've reduced the efficiency of rally though. Previously, as long as you were spamming, you could pretty much recover all of your HP, but now it seems like the HP drains quickly enough that even with my flurries of attacks, I do end up losing out on a little bit of HP when I take damage. And that's probably a good thing. Rallying was kind of a little bit OP in the previous builds. Oh, still got random drops from enemies to help you along your way. Ooh, I'm nearing that 2.8k gold mark I mentioned. I should be able to pick up that double-notched bow then. Should be just, rally. Your recoverable health definitely seems to drain faster than it did in the previous builds. But yeah, that double-notched bow should be a pure upgrade, so I'm looking forward to that, of course. What am I getting from here? Ooh, infantry grenade. So it explodes like the base grenade. Oh, okay, I think this is just a replacement for the base grenade they had before. Because I'm pretty sure if I remember right... Ooh, that's an interesting detail I just noticed, but I'll get to that in a sec. I'm pretty sure the green bonuses are the randomly generated ones, so you could get this on any grenade. Causes all arrows to fall from victims. That is useful. That is actually a really good bonus because that means that ranged weapons, at least with an item with this bonus, are now viable against the bosses. Previously they weren't because your limited ammunition would just get stuck in a boss, and you'd have no way to recover it since you could only recover it by killing the enemy, the boss. But now that you have items that can make you regain ammunition in this way, that makes the ranged builds a lot more viable, so that's good to see. And the other detail I just noticed, the fact that when you're actually perusing items like this, it pauses the game. Previously, it did not. Well, at least, wait, no, it's still paused. Okay, so they just expanded the types of rooms that pause the timer. So, treasure rooms like this, merchants presumably as well. I'll have to, look for that when I go back to that previous merchant. Those things now all pause the game, whereas previously they didn't. Definitely a good change, that. Okay, if I'm... Oh, that's interesting. I just noticed that the portion... Because wasn't my bow half and half brutality and tactics before, red and violet? But now it seems to be more red. So did that brutality level up I picked up actually affect that? Is it saying that most of the damage is coming from brutality level ups, or how does that work? let's see what happens to that when I pick up a tactics upgrade. Okay, yeah, look, now it's back to half and half. So I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to be communicating. I guess it just means that those items are affected by both, and it's showing the ratio of levels I have that are governing them, I guess? I'm not sure why that's necessary, but I guess it is mechanical clarity, so I won't complain. Okay. Really? I hope there's some more I can explore here, because if not, I'm not going to be able to pick up that bow, and that would really disappoint me. Finally, I too would be able to use the Elite Archer's bow, since, you know, they have a double-notched one. Yeah, no, that's it. Crap. I'm gonna... Okay, this is just a huge waste of time, but I'm gonna go back and just pay attention to my surroundings more. That wasn't something I was doing, perhaps to the dismay of anyone watching. And thus, I missed a lot of those wall and possibly floor runes as well. And that's where I'm going to be able to pick up some more cash if I'm lucky. It also looks like there's an area up here. Oh, I didn't fully explore it because I can't currently. I can tickle the slime, but I can't actually use it for anything useful as of yet. Let's go back up here. I don't see any runes. Wall ones are easy to spot. Floor ones much less so. I was just missing some wall ones previously because I was forgetting to actively look for them. That is a habit I'm going to have to get back into if I want to actually do well at this game. And, you know, not infuriate anyone watching, because maybe it's just me, but when watching other people play this game and they just don't notice these wall runes, it just always pisses me so much off. Okay. I don't want to waste too much time just going back and checking out previous areas. So I'm just gonna go pick up that double-notched bow and move on. I'd probably be better off going with one of these weapons, but I want that double-notched bow. Plus, if I get the ability to freeze enemies, I'll be able to make use of that procedurally generated ability. I just noticed it says, cannot be sold. Does that mean if I were to pick up another item, can I actually sell stuff to him? Maybe there's specific NPCs now that can purchase gear. That would certainly help with purchasing some of the more expensive items. You wouldn't just have to rely on random gold drops. And yeah, as I suspected, time is now frozen in the merchants as well. So again, a good change. Okay. I'm actually really happy with the state of the game, at least from what I've seen of the very first level. Granted, this is just the baby tutorial level, so we'll see how my mood changes as I move along. Depending on how they balance things, I might not be all that happy at all, but we'll see. Wait, you again? I haven't seen you before. I haven't died on this save file. Okay, let's see. So yep, I got that Bloodsword blueprint. Ooh. They have a lot of interesting equipment unlocked from the start, it looks like. That you don't have to find blueprints for, I mean. Although you do have to have unlocked a whole bunch more items to actually access them. Merchandise category? What is all this about? I guess I'll figure that out once I unlock it. For now, let's make the only purchase I'm actually able to. Good ol' Estus Flask. You can transform the items you find on the ground or in chests into gold. Ah, that must be how selling works. That's definitely something I'm going to want a gun for very soon. But Bloodsword I remember being really useful, so I'm gonna aim for that first. Mostly just because of how cheap it is. Alright, see you later, collector buddy. I wonder if it's still possible to bust down these doors. This big collector door here, or if they've changed that. It's just, it looks like such a strong, sturdy door. It doesn't feel like I'd be able to do that, but I can always try that out later. Okay, I'm in pretty good condition, so let's move on to the promenade. It'd be nice if I could actually get a full, complete run of the game with this, but I'm doubting that, if only because of just how difficult the game gets in the later stages. I only ever got to the quote-unquote final boss, who, if I'm not mistaken, maybe this was something they said they would do in the next update, I'm not sure. But I think the Watcher, the big... Oh, hello. The, big eye dude is no longer the final boss as of the current build, but I'm not sure. So, I was immediately frightened of this gentleman here, but I think it might just be a resprited, teleporting dude. Previously, they were just, palette swaps of the basic zombie enemies. So yeah, they've definitely differentiated a lot of the similar looking enemies that there were before. So that's good. Let's see, do you teleport? Yep, okay, so you're just a teleporter now. And you're no more threatening than you were before. Although you certainly look a lot more fierce, which I do like. And yeah, this quote-unquote secret area, which really is not a secret. Like, I don't know, a lot of people do miss it, but it's just so easy to find. And it's such a weird place to have a secret too. Unless they've added more since last I played, it's the only secret of its kind. A guaranteed secret giving you a specific blueprint, I mean. As opposed to a procedurally generated secret with a randomly picked blueprint, which is usually how they do that. Just feels like it's maybe a holdover from some earlier stage in the design, and that they've just kept around for some reason. Okay, yeah, I am very happy with the double-notched bow. Does it actually use 2 bits of ammo per shot? It does indeed. I wasn't sure if each shot will count as a pip or 2 pips, and it is in fact 2 pips. Right, don't ever drop blindly. Use the fact that you can pan the camera with the right analog stick to avoid dumb mistakes like that. As I said, I gotta get back into my old good playing habits. Okay, this is... No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm tempted to break down the door. You hinted at being able to do that by the fact that it's kind of in a disrepaired state. But if it's anything like it was in the previous builds, that's going to inflict me with a curse. And I'm not exactly interested in experiencing that right now. But the game seems to be really taunting me to do it. No, I'm not gonna let you egg me on, game. This is the first time I've played in 4 or 5 months. I'm gonna take it somewhat slow and steady. I want to have a chance at a successful run. And afflicting myself with a curse is pretty much gonna reduce that to nil. I could definitely do with finding a melee weapon upgrade, that's for sure. Of course, that's just going to be luck of the draw. Will the game be kind enough to actually do that? I'm hoping so, but we'll see. Ooh, that is a nasty situation to be in. I'm just gonna flee and drag the teleporter away from the... Oh my, okay. Never mind what I said about the teleporters being much less threatening. While I rolled one too many times. I rolled to the side and then back before he actually retargeted me, so his attack was aimed to the side that I rolled to on the second time. So much for that being a successful run. But you know what? That's, I think that's appropriate for being my first run on this fresh file, after having not played it for a while, so I think I'll end things here. And see if they've made any more changes to things after you've died your first time. Next time.